Hi everyone, my name is Favor. Today we'll be learning the basic crochet stitches. First thing first, I'd like to introduce you to the materials we'll be using. First, we'll need yarn. You can basically use any type of yarn for this, but for this tutorial I'll be using the Yeye extra yarn. And the reason I'm using the Yeye extra yarn is because it has the kind of thickness that will make what I'm doing visible as far as this tutorial is concerned. Then the next thing is our crochet hook. I'm using a size 4.5 hook, but you can also use a size 4 size hook. Size 3.5 as well can also work. So it just depends on whatever is convenient for you and how you want your stitches to come out. Alright, getting into the tutorial, the first thing we're going to be learning is how to make a slip knot. That is the most basic stitch you must learn in crochet, a slip knot, because for most of the projects you'll be working on, you will need to begin with a slip knot. A slip knot is easy. It's basically like a normal knot, except that for this one you're going to make it easy to unravel. So here goes. To make a slip knot, this is one way to go about it. Wrap your yarn around like this, and instead of bringing this shorter end through here and sealing it off, you're going to bring the longer end through the knot like this, and then you're going to pull. So now you have a slip knot. So you see that this makes it easier for you to unravel. Here you go. So another way, trying to make it more visible now, is you wrap your yarn like this, like a cancer awareness logo, something like this, and then you take the longer one through the back of this loop. You take it through the back of the loop like this, and you pull it out. So this is how to make a slip knot. Then there are other people who use their hooks to make a slip knot. Basically what they do is they do this. So the next thing we're going to be learning is how to make a chain. How to make a chain. I would always say, to make a chain, you must be sure that you have a free flow of yarn. So whatever method works for you when it comes to holding your yarn, whatever method is more convenient is the method you should use. Some people like to wrap the yarn around their fingers a couple of times to ensure that the working yarn is stable. For other people, they don't need it. Personally, I don't need it, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be sticking with that. So I'm going to wrap my yarn around my hook. This is your loop. I'm going to tell you what terms, everything we are doing is, so that when you see a written tutorial, you'll be able to recognize what is being said. So this is your loop, and then you're going to put your hook in your loop. Ensure that the curved part of your hook is facing you, not facing this direction or any other direction. It is turned towards you like this. So the process of wrapping this, your working yarn, over your hook is called yarn over. So it's not yarn under. It's not like this. It is like this. The yarn is coming over on top of your hook like this. So it's called yarn over. So you yarn over your yarn. You yarn over on your hook like this, and you pull. The goal of making chains is to pull the working yarn through the loop that you have on your hook. So you pull this through. Make sure you are holding this end steady so it's easier for you. You pull the hook through the loop. So this is your first chain. You yarn over again the second time. You yarn over again the second time. You pull through the loop, and as you go, you notice that your working yarn is short, so you release some more from your finger, and this place is getting longer, so I would suggest to move your hand forward, wrap your yarn again, and pull the loop through your loop. Pull the yarn through your loop, wrap again, pull through your loop. So far so good. We have 1 2 3 4 chains. So depending on what project you're working on, if it's a purse, you could be working from like 20 chains to 40 chains, depending on the length you're going for. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to do 10. So you just keep repeating that. So these are what 10 chains look like. You can always tell where each space is. The next thing we are going to be learning is how to make a single crochet. In order to make a single crochet, you need to do a turning chain. A turning chain is simply the chain that allows your row to align, but you're not going to be working in that chain. So you yarn over as usual and you make a regular chain, but because it's your working chain, you're not starting from there. If you know you get confused, you can always use your stitch marker to mark that place. So this is your working loop, and this is your turning chain. So you're going to go in with your stitch marker like so. I'm going to clip it, and then you're going to go back in with your hook, and you're going to begin working. So now, because you've marked here, you know that you're not working in this same loop, so you're going to the space after that with your hook. So put your hook in that space, yarn over as usual, and then pull out your yarn. When you pull out your yarn, you are pulling it out of only that space. You're not pulling it all the way through. So now you will have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to wrap it again, and you're going to pull it out of the 2 this time. To make a single crochet is quite straightforward once you get a hang of it. So I'm going to go over it again. We are not doing that in the same space. We've already worked in this space, so we are moving on to the next space. So what you do is, in your next space, you put your hook in the space, yarn over, then this yarn over, you're pulling it through just this space. You pull it through just that space. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull it through the 2 loops this time around. That's another single crochet. This loop is looking this way because you've worked in it. So you're going to the next one, which is here. You repeat the same thing. Put your hook in the space, yarn over, pull it through the loop, yarn over again, and bring it through the 2 loops. That's a single crochet. So you continue all the way to the end of your row. So when you get to the end of your row like this, there is literally no other space for you to go into, but you need to keep increasing your work. Say for instance, you're making a headband, and you want it to grow in length, so you can wrap it around your head. The next thing to do, how to switch rows, is you're going to chain 1. Remember, I told you that this chain 1 is your turning chain. The reason why you're always chaining 1 at the beginning of a new row is so that it can equalize the length of what you are working on, so your work is not looking unequal or uneven on the sides. So you chain 1 and then you turn your work. You can either turn it this way or turn it this way. Either way you turn it is fine. This is your chain 1. You're not working in that chain 1 space. So this time around, you're going to put your hook in the space. Now you're going to notice that this time around, when you put your hook in the space, you have 2 loops. 1, 2. That's perfectly normal. So when you put your hook in, you're going to yarn over and pull it through that 2 loops, and you have 2 loops remaining on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So we are going to be doing that again. You put your hook in the second space. You see you have 1, 2. They are joined together, 1, 2. Then this is the one that was initially on your hook. So you're going to yarn over and bring it to only that first 2. Then you yarn over and bring it through the last 2. Let's do it one more time. You put your hook in. You've already worked in this space, so you put your hook in the next space, yarn over, pull through the last 2 spaces. So you're going to continue at it like that all the way till you get to this end. I'm going to join you when I get to this end so I can explain the way forward. Alright, so I'm at the end here. You're going to see that you have one last space here like this. So how do you know this is your last space? This is the last space, and the other space here you've marked it with your stitch marker. That's the turning space I told you about the other time. So at this point you don't need this stitch marker anymore, so you're going to take it out, and then you're going to wrap your yarn and pull it out of that space, yarn over, and do that for the remaining 2. So this is the end of your space. So in order to turn to the next row again, you're going to do the same thing. Do your turning chain, which is this, and then walk all the way to the end. So you keep doing that. You keep doing your turning chain. Make sure you walk in every space till the end. Chain 1 and do the same thing when you get to the end of the row, and then you continue all the way that you have as many number of rows as you want to have, depending on what project you're working on. And always be careful, because if you do more stitches than the initial chains you made, it will make your work to expand beyond what you are planning. And if you do less, it will make your work decrease. So you have to make sure that you have the exact number you started with. Remember, we started with 10, so let's confirm now. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So you see I still have the exact number. You can see that it is straight. Everything is looking equal. If it was that I skipped some stitches, my work will be looking smaller like this. If it is that I did more, it will be looking wider. So you must also take note of how many stitches you're working with. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.